Well, hello there. Good morning to you all. Konnichiwa. So this will be my review for episode 2 of Highschool DxD. So this episode was an interesting episode for mainly for 3 points. The first point is that we learn the background of Yuuto, Yuuto, and at the start we do see him fighting that rogue exorcist. Eventually, he expresses firmly his desire to destroy all the Excalibur swords, and later on we have Rias explaining to Issei about what happened in Yuto's past, and he was a survivor, like it was hinted in the last episode of an experiment that was being doing by the church, and basically the church apparently created 7 swords uh, with shards of the real Excalibur, and those 7 swords kind of became holy blades or holy swords. And he was one of the guys initially that was part of the experiment, but since the experiment failed, he was ordered to be disposed with alongside others, but apparently he is the one that survived that, and eventually he was saved by Rias because he wanted to have vengeance and became a demon or a devil. Then the second aspect important on this episode is about well, before that, in this episode we have a lot of fan service, we have a lot of naked frames, we have also a pair of comedy, especially at the start with in the episode with Issei, Asia, and Rias when they are at Issei's room. It's very funny to watch the interactions and the comedy and the dialogue between these 3 characters since the first season. And but they became, in my opinion, they are even better constructed in this, and that was very funny. Then the second important moment was when after Rias and Asia leave the room of Issei because they slept alongside him, he is kind of contacted by the dragon, Drake, and basically Drake warns Issei that he needs to be prepared to fight the user of the gear that possessed the white dragon because that is happened since ancient times, and the Drake also says that he needs to be watching all his surroundings because he kind of feels a strange energy around him, and he does not know if this is the energy of the white dragon or other kind of energy, but he warns Issei to be careful and that he needs to have his eyes open because at any time he can encounter the user of the gear with the white dragon and they inevitably will have to fight. And then we see, and I'm quite inclined at this point to say that the guy that already appeared in the first episode and that appears also in this episode, and the guy that makes that request to Issei, and he in this episode kind of appears again, and they are fishing at night. So I'm quite inclined, and this guy even appears in the intro of the series. So I'm quite inclined to believe that this guy, this older guy, is probably the user of the gear of the White Dragon eventually. So I might be wrong, but that's my feel. And then we see the 2 girls that came, and these 2 girls that came basically, like we already know, one of them is the old friend of Issei when they were kids, and apparently she is a girl because apparently during his younger days she was kind of a tomboy, so Issei thinks that she was a boy, but she is not. But they came to this town basically because they are trying to gather the remaining holy swords, because apparently 3 of the 7 swords were already in possession of fallen angels. They kind of stole them, and these 2 were sent to this town, basically to retrieve that holy swords. And first we see interaction with these 2 characters, with the student council president Sonia, that warns Rias and says to her that they want to have a meeting with her. Later on we see them again at Issei's place, and basically Shida, I don't remember the first name of her, is the name of the girl that was a friend of Issei when he was younger. She kinda came to visit Issei's mom, apparently. Probably that's not the only reason, but we see that, and later on we see that these 2 do have a meeting with Rias, and Rias is with Issei, is with Akino, is with Koneko, and is with Asia. And basically these 2 holy sword users basically came to request Rias to not interfere in their fight with the fallen angels, because their mission is to retrieve that holy swords. And then this second girl, Xenovia, she kind of recognizes Asia and becomes hunting her. And basically she is saying that if she still believes in God, she could kill her, and because after that she will gain repentance or something like that. And then Issei steps in and kind of challenges her to a fight. But when they are kind of going at it, Yuuto kind of arrives at the club, and he says that he also wants to take a part in that fight. And then the episode ends with Yuuto facing off Xenovia, and basically Shida is fighting, or will be fighting, Issei. And Yuuto, the only thing that Yuuto says is that he does not bother to have this fight, because the thing that he wants to destroy, that are holy swords, they came right to his lap, so he will be fighting with that goal. And then when he uses his gear, this girl Xenovia kind of recognizes the power and remembers that there was one guy of the first experiment that survived and that possessed this power. So, well, and roughly this is the episode, or the strong points of this episode. So the story is progressing well, in my opinion. I do wanted to see this fight, because apparently this will be only the first fight, skirmish, whatever, and I do wanted to see what is the power of the users of the Holy Sword. Not the situation with the guy that is a rogue exorcist, because the guy is crazy, and even if he can use the power, I kind of wanted a refreshed adversary with goals, with objectives and so on, and not just going on a rampage killing the people that he came across. So for that I have good expectations about these girls, the users of the Holy Sword. Also, I do wonder what will be the role of this older guy that already appeared on the first episode and also appears in the intro. So for him to appear in the intro, it's my firm conviction that this guy probably is the user of the White Dragon gear. So I'm wondering what is his goal, those he intends to fight Issei. What will happen if one of the users of the dragon vanquishes the other? Can he have the 2 gears, or can he take possession of the gear of his enemy? Not what is happening, and that will be very interesting. And I also wanted to see some new fallen angels with more power than the ones that appeared on the first season, because they were kinda underestimated, underestimated. They were easily vanquished. So I do hope to have a more background about it, or about other fallen angels and so on. So I'm quite curious about it. So basically, this is my review for Highschool DxD new episode 2. Hope you enjoy. Stay well. Peace.